Hi, my name is Kamikubo. I'm excited to share with you our work on contributing to accessibility datasets, reflections on sharing study data by blind people. This is joint work with my fellow PhD student Kyungjun Lee and our PhD advisor Hernisa Kacorri. We're members of the Trace Center and the Human-Computer Interaction Lab at the University of Maryland, College Park. I want to first define what we mean by accessibility datasets. They are datasets sourced from disabled people that have the potential for training and testing machine learning models. For example, in this work, we focus on images taken by blind people. So why do such datasets matter? Well, they're central to innovation. Photos taken by blind individuals can be used to train a mobile phone to recognize everyday objects, increasing access to the visual world. Such datasets could also help in mitigating AI bias so that objects can be recognized even when photos are taken by people who may face difficulty in camera framing and avoiding object occlusion. Thus, they could help broadly deploy AI systems such as Google Lens be effective for diverse user populations. However, if you're interested in finding accessibility datasets, you'll quickly realize they are scarce. Looking at the challenges, we quickly see that one has to carefully consider the potential risks for creating and sharing such datasets. First, collecting data from small populations increases the risk of re-identification. This can amplify concerns for non-consenting disclosure, leading to further discrimination risks pertaining to sensitive disability status. Sharing accessibility datasets also poses risks of data abuse and misuse. People could reuse these data with the wrong intent, such as building an algorithm to detect or misdetect a disability without one's consent. In the face of these challenges, our goal is to contribute to discussions around increasing the availability of accessibility datasets, where data sharing is critical. We engage with 13 blind people to have direct conversations on how data that they contributed in a study should be shared through an AI dataset, specifically involving photos and labels of everyday objects. Specifically, we conducted a pair of studies. Blind participants were first invited to evaluate an object recognizer deployed on smart glasses in their homes. They generated photos and labels of objects to personalize the application. This evaluation study helps us situate our work in a real-world data sharing scenario that is challenging. Since the data are collected in naturalistic settings, they may capture more information about one's surroundings. More so, those contributing the data, or blind participants, may not be able to inspect them when deciding to share. We conducted a follow-up interview where participants reflected with and without probing scenarios on various factors that influence their decision to share their study data. They reacted to benefits, risks, and other contexts such as data access methods, helping us surface their motivations and concerns relating to data sharing. After eliciting their perspectives, our participants were called to decide whether they want the researchers to share their study data and participate in a follow-up co-design session for accessible data inspection system. In this work, we report findings from the interviews contextualized within this larger study. We gained many insights from the interview, and we invite you to all to read our paper. At a high level, we found that many blind participants supported sharing of their study data to improve AI-infused technology for greater benefit to both disabled and non-disabled people. Risks were often perceived as minimal. I think the benefits far outweigh any minor drawbacks that could occur. If someone says, oh, there was a 71-year-old guy that took pictures of Lay's potato chips, that's all that ever happens to me, said P12. Yet they express concerns such as sharing demographic metadata along their study data. Why would you even be collecting that information? It's not relevant to you to the task of the AI, said P9. We see that this is not only due to privacy and safety, but also the ambiguity of its value for building AI-infused technology. For other concerns related to data use, many actually favor to restrict the use cases of their study data being shared, such as for research purposes only or for object recognition technology. Some participants even express hesitancy to contribute their study data for commercial purposes. However, they pose mixed feelings considering perceived benefits and everyday risks they face in the digital world. I can't control, and nobody else can really control. If people use this information for something else, honestly, that happens everywhere, said P6. Indeed, most of them frequently use commercial AI-infused applications such as to read text and identify objects or share their camera view with sighted helpers, despite their concerns given there were no alternatives. To wrap up, blind participants' willingness to share their study data were impacted by various factors, sometimes revealing a paradox between their expressed concerns versus their behaviors as end users of AI-infused applications. We therefore see the need for better assessment of benefit-risk trade-offs, more transparency, and oversight structures to support an ongoing communication with data contributors and a participatory data stewardship framework, ensuring that data contributors have some power to be able to affect the outcome of the process rather than being simply informed. We leveraged the empirical insights gained from the blind community to discuss how we can better configure data practices to align with individual concerns and values. We also see how our approach of eliciting participants' perspectives could be leveraged by future researchers who want to engage their own participants in decisions around sharing of their study data. To facilitate such practices, we have shared our interview questionnaire at go.umd.edu/datasharing_questionnaire. This work is supported by Nightler. Thank you for listening.